أن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدًا عبده ورسوله صلوات الله وسلامه عليه تسليما كثيرا أما بعد فإن خير الكلام كلام الله وخير الهدى هدى رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر الأمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة كل ضلالة في النار. Last week in the Khutbah al-Jum'ah, if you all remember, we were addressing you as community members, as brothers. إنما المؤمنون إخوة فأصلحوا بين أخويكم واتقوا الله. Verily the Muslims are brothers. The Muslims are brothers. So when brothers have a problem, then you have to get involved, then you have to make peace between your brothers in the hopes that Allah will have rahmah upon you. And we mentioned a number of ayat from the Quran about this issue. How we don't have the luxury when we know Muslims are having beef, they're not getting along, they're warring, they're not getting along. You don't have the luxury to sit on the sideline and not get involved. You have to make peace between your mother and your father, your aunties, your uncles, your cousins, your own brothers and sisters, your relatives. The people who are not your relatives, you have to make peace between them. You're not allowed to sit on the sideline and just let it go. We mentioned a number of ayat and a number of ahadith, and we told you from the takrar, the many adillah, the many ayat and the many ahadith goes to show that this issue is important. Because it was enough for Allah to mention one ayat. It was enough for Al-Mustafa Al-Mukhtar to mention one hadith, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. But there are a plethora, catalog of ayat and ahadith that were mentioned to show it's important. When there's drama going on between myself and Abu Abdurrahman, you guys have to get involved. From the ayat that we didn't bring is an ayat that we want to kickstart today's Khutbah al-Jum'ah off with. And I got to be honest with you. Today is probably the most difficult khutbah that I've ever had to give. Because I want to get up here and I want to set this place on fire. I remember back a few years ago when the Muslims were shot in New Zealand and I came downstairs to find my wife crying. And I said, what's the matter? What's going on? She said, you got to look at the news. I looked at the news and I was shocked to see Shaitan from the ins, far-right racist, devil, went into the places of worship of the people of La ilaha illallah and started shooting people in the head, inside the masjid and outside the masjid. And it wasn't enough. He went to another masjid and he shot people. I was so angry and I was so upset that I said to the people, I'm not giving the khutbah today, because if I give the khutbah today, I'm going to jail. They're going to say that I am encouraging racism. These devils are going to say that about me. Today, all of the collection of this masjid is going to go to our brothers in Palestine. And these shayateen will say, you supported terrorism because you want to help your brothers and your sisters. Back to the point, Akhi Hudayfa, I canceled the Jummah that day because I felt I was going to drop the ball. I was speaking emotionally because I was upset. And as a Muslim, I know that I have to curtail my emotions and I have to make my emotions in tune with the Kitab and the Sunnah, with the way the Salaf of this Ummah understood it. And I've been saying that here in this masjid for so long. What's my religion? Qala Allahu, qala Rasuluhu. That's my religion. And that the companions understood those two things in a particular way. So one time, when the companions were about to conquer Mecca, they were upset, they were mad, they had the numbers. They said, today is the day of shedding blood. We are gonna shred their meat. And they started talking about Hamza and Mus'ab ibn Umair and how they had been put out of Mecca and all of the zulm of the Zalimeen. And the companions, they all got involved. They said, yeah. Today is the day of al-malhama. We're gonna shed their meat. The Nabi of Islam, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Allah said about him, وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ. He said, what is this? What is this? What is this? مَا بُعِثْتُ بِهَذَا. I haven't been sent with this. What are you talking about? Stop talking like that. Stop talking like that. By talking like that, you're going to give a bad example of the reality of my dawah and my religion. We are men. We're not women. We're men. We're not children. We're uqala, hukama. We don't fall into the hands of the mujrimeen. There's a yawmul qiyamah and a yawmul hisab that Allah is going to hold you to responsible. You're going to hold us responsible for the mizan of al-Islam. If white people act a particular way, we don't act that way. If Democrats and Republicans, America and the UK and France and Belgium and these war criminals, if they act a particular way, we have a higher standard. Our Imam is al-Nabi al-Mustafa sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So the companions fell back, radiyallahu anhum, not because they were chumps and punks, not because they were du'afa, jubana, cowards. It was because in what the Prophet brought, there is life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when we go against what he brought, there are going to be problems. So I mustered up the strength to come before you today because I was this close to canceling today's khutbah because I may not be the man for the job. It's my responsibility to come before the Muslims. I want to be emotional, but I would be dropping the ball as the imam of this community. I've been telling you and preaching all of this time, kitab, sunnah, and understanding of the salaf of this ummah. The companions went through a lot, ridwanullahi alayhim, and they came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he was basking in the glow of the Kaaba. And I told you this hadith before. And they say, Ya Rasulullah, afala tad'ullah lana, afala tastansir lana. Why don't you make dua? Why don't you ask Allah to help us? And he sat up and he said, there was a man from the people who came before you who would be brought and a hole would be dug and he would be put in that hole and he'd be sawed in half and his meat and his veins and everything would separate from his bones. وَلَا يَسُدُّهُ ذَلِكَ عَنْ دِينِهِ. And that would not cause him to leave his deen. This is not the first time that this has happened in al-Islam. It's happened to our brothers from Afghanistan for many years. It's happened before with the salaf of this ummah. It happened even before that with the righteous people of the Quran and the Sunnah, the Ashab al-Ukhdud. All you have to do is go back and read about our religion. So I would not be a good imam, and I would not be on the way of the salaf. I would not be true to what I call to, and that is, let's be men, uqala, hukama. One of the ayat that I did not read last week was from the many ayat, the statement of Allah Azza wa Jal, وَإِن طَائِفَتَانِ مِنَ الْمُؤْمِنِينَ اقْتَتَلُوا فَأَصْلِحُوا بَيْنَهُمَا فَإِن بَغَتْ إِحْدَاهُمَا عَلَى الْأُخْرَى فَقَاتِلُوا الَّتِي تَبْغِي حَتَّى تَفِيءَ إِلَى أَمْرِ اللَّهِ فإن فاءت فأصلحوا بينهما بالعدل وأقسطوا إن الله يحب المقسطين. If there are two Muslims who are fighting each other, then you Muslims get involved and make peace between your two Muslim brothers. And if one of the two goes overboard and he makes al-baghi bima'na al-kalima, no water, no electricity, kids are dying, blowing people up, causing buildings to fall on them. If one of your Muslim brothers make baghi against your other brother, then all of you get involved. All of you get involved. And stop your Muslim brother from oppressing your collective brother. And do that with al-adl and with al-qist, justice, because Allah loves those who are just. That ayat told all of us to get involved. If one Muslim is having a problem with another Muslim, then everybody has to get involved. And then if one of them insists on going overboard, then everybody fight against the one who's your brother. So if the one who is oppressing your brother is a kafir, bittifaq, and from the worst of the people in our theology, why would the question present itself? What should we be doing concerning our brothers in Palestine? What should we be doing concerning our sisters in Palestine and the babies in Palestine? What should we be doing? What we should be doing is, first of all, feeling that it's a religious responsibility that everybody here should be crying. Everybody here should be feeling sad. Everybody here, the light should switch off in your head that Yawmul Qiyamah is close. Everybody here, the Nabi of Islam, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, despite what these mujrimeen from these white and Western people are saying, he is the Nabi of Islam, because he prophesies this time that we will be a lot of people, but we will be like the ghuffa of the ocean, foam of the ocean, weak, insignificant. But although that's a sad reality, it makes our iman go up, because wallahi, I know I'm on the right team. On Facebook, my African American relatives who I love, they have nothing to do with the religion of Isa. They have nothing. Taken in slavery, our language, our religion, everything stolen from us. They stole everything from us. And then here come my African American relatives on Facebook saying, we stand with Israel. I begin to ask, why do you stand with Israel? They killed your God that you believe in, your white God that you believe in. They say, we never thought about it like that. Well, it's not about the God that they killed and they killed the God. It's about the land. The land. It's about the land. Well, how would you feel? How would you feel if someone who owned the land of our grandfather in North Carolina, someone came and said, this is our land before you, and he just took it from us and hit us all in the head and shot us and killed us? We wouldn't like that. Then stop talking out of the side of your neck, my relatives. So I want to remind you, Ummatul Islam, of a few issues. If one of the Muslims made problems with another Muslim, we have to make islah. What if the one who's giving problem to our brother is a kafir? What do? He's a mujrim. He's a mujrim. They're from the shayateen al-ins. What do? Well, first thing I want to remind you of are 3 hadith that everybody here knows. The first hadith is, none of you truly believes till you love for your brother what you love for yourself. None of you truly believes till you love for your brother what you love for yourself. Sudanese in this masjid are dealing with something that's not too far in the distant future, in the past. Libyans here, Moroccans here, we all come together for that, and we make ourselves feel. Afghanistani people are here. Afghanistan people, they're here. The second hadith I want to remind you of is the hadith, al-mu'min lil-mu'min kal-bunyani yashuddu ba'duhu ba'da. The Muslim to his brother is like a solid cemented structure. They support one another. They don't stab each other in the back. They don't, at a time like this, start dealing with peripheral issues. Hamas, why did they do that? Hamas, it's their fault. Who does that? The man's mother is dead, and you're here for her janazah, and you're going to come to the man and start talking about your mother's fingernails were too long? Your mother didn't wear hijab? That's what you're going to tell that man? And his mother died, and that's your dawah to that man? Or you tell that man whose mother died, you have isbal. Your thobe is not long enough. Your lihya is not long enough. You start talking to him about that at this time? The third hadith I want to share with you is the hadith of the Nabi al-Mustafa sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. مثل المؤمنين في توادهم وتراحمهم وتعاطفهم كمثل الجسد الواحد. The example of the believers in their love for one another and their mercy towards one another and their sympathy and empathy towards one another is like one body. If a part of the body aches and all of the body suffers from sleeplessness and from fever. I gotta apologize to the Shab al-Filistini right now. I have to apologize. I have to apologize in that when I was growing up and I started giving dawah, whenever Hamas would do something, and I am not down with Hamas. I don't like Hamas's history. I don't like the politics of Hamas. I don't, and I haven't. And in the past, when Hamas would do something, and then the shayateen of the ins will come and destroy their people, and the innocent and the abriya, I used to blame Hamas, and I would say, you knew this was going to happen, and you're bringing this on yourself. I was disconnected. I was disjointed. I never really knew that the Palestinian Shab were going through what they're going through all of these years. I never really knew that. I never, for some reason, looked into the issue to see that these people have been in open prison for 70 years. I never knew it. So I put myself in another man's position, and I know how I am as a person. My little baby, her name is Maymuna. I call her Maymuna, my Maymay. You know what I worry about when I'm not in Birmingham with that little baby girl? I worry about her picking up her little brother's small toy while she's crawling on the floor, because she can crawl now, and put it in her mouth and choking. La samahullah. I worry about her picking up some hair that comes from her sister or something, and it's just randomly on the floor, and she picks it up naturally and tries to swallow it. I call my wife and I call my kids and I say, keep things off of the floor from for that girl. My wife says, Abu, we make dua. We do the best that we can. Look at these children that we have that tajawazu, this marhala of khutura. We have other children who didn't swallow, didn't choke. But that's my wiswas. That's what I'm afraid for, Maymuna. I'm not afraid for a bomb being dropped on us. Right now, Friday, Jummah is not wajib upon Palestinians. You know why? Because they're being bombed. Because these people have gone in there to kill them. Jummah is not wajib upon them. The rain is about to come down, inshallah. I told the brothers, soon as you see the rain, I'm gonna stop. Here I'm worrying about the rain to stop, to have mercy upon you people. To have mercy upon you people. These people have no food. They have no electricity. They have no medicine. And they're innocent. So I want to ask you a question. After I read to you the ayah, Ha antum awla'i tuhibbunahum wa la yuhibbunakum. You are the people who love these kuffar, and they don't love you. So Allah said, did you not see? Did you not see? The kuffar politicians double down on their hatred for us. Joe Biden said, I don't care what's going on. We're down with Israel. I don't care what's going on. These people you vote for, from the Republicans and the Democrats, and you vote for them. You do. And although from this minbar I said it's permissible to vote with conditions, but I would never vote for them. I want to change the issue from another way. I want to change the issue by telling the Muslims, if we get on our deen and our aqidah and tawheed and the sunnah, Allah will divinely protect us. I will never vote for these people who come to you after you voted for them and they tell you, we're going to do what we want to do against you. Let the opposition of the Muslims be LGBT community. If there were a bunch of LGBT community members over there, the press wouldn't deal with this like this. Israel wouldn't deal with this like this. They would take a little bit more concern to figure it out. But with third world people, fourth and fifth class people, white, black, people of color, Muslims, you love them and they don't love you. Wallahi, even before Islam, I had a connection with Palestinians. Why? Nah, I got a bad picture of Palestinians in the African American community. I got a bad picture of them selling my community pork and poison and khamr. And I used to ask them, and they used to make istihza. But that's a different story for a different day. But I have respect for them because I saw the parallels between the dhulm of Palestine and the dhulm of African Americans. And now this gives me an opportunity to come before the community and say, Ya qawmi ma lana. What's wrong with us? What's wrong with us? A few years ago, the war criminal, he's guilty of war crimes, George Bush. He said that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. It was kadhib, and all of the reputable news media people put that out there because they have no ethics. Christians, Jews, Ahlul Kitab, Isa, Musa, get out of here, man, and miss me with that stuff. People are capitalists, atheists. These people are agnostic. And then after that, so many things that they were telling us in this media. There was a Kuwaiti girl who was the daughter of a diplomat in Kuwait. She came out after Saddam Hussein did what he did. And she said, in the hospitals, the Iraqi soldiers went in and took babies out of incubators and they just left them to die. And the world got upset. And it lowered the insaniya in the people. And because of that narration of that girl, it made people numb. But it doesn't stop there, it never stops. Recently, they said 40 babies had their heads cut off, 40 babies. And these news media outlets, they ran that story. Why? Because the aftermath of what Hamas did, because they are hopeless. The aftermath of what Hamas did, because they're dying. These people were real when they said they want to change the landscape of the Middle East. They came and they decimated Gaza. As if there was an earthquake in Gaza. As if there was a flood in Gaza. Combined, wiped those people out. And the narration of the severed heads was kadhib. The lady, Shaheen, the Palestinian American lady, I gave a khutbah about that here. They put out that Hamas killed her. And then they found out that the Israeli Zionists shot that lady. But based upon the narration of Hamas did it, the world lowers their insaniya. So my question to you people, my question to you Muslims is, when are we going to understand? Until when are we going to understand? The sister who's downstairs right now and some of her hair comes out of her hijab, she has to feel this is her responsibility to put all her hair in her hijab. Because that can be the point or the issue, that we get the nusra of Allah. You, Akhi Abdullah, me, praying our religion and practicing our religion, what can you do for the Muslims in Palestine? What can you do? You can give money that's going to be collected today, and don't fear they say that you're a terrorist. Don't be afraid to give money. They want to make us afraid. They want me to get afraid to get up here and to say what I know should be said. No, I'm not going to be emotional and let my emotions go. I'm going to stick with what I know to be the truth. You want to help the Muslims in Palestine? Let us make dua and sajda with ikhlas that Allah Ta'ala deals with those people. Allah does not oppress His servants. He doesn't oppress them. What do you want to do? What can you do for Palestine? I'll tell you what you can do for Palestine. Some of you du'at. All I've been hearing from some people who claim that they're connected to the sunnah and to the way of the salaf, and it's kalamun farigh, and you're making us upset. All they can do is blame Hamas. Hamas, they are the part rulers of Palestine. They are part of the wulat of Palestine. So just as you don't like it and you get triggered when people mention anything close or far from the hukam of the Khalij, you get triggered and you get upset. He didn't even say anything negative. You get mad. Well, Hamas is part of the hukam of Palestine. Don't criticize them. Don't blame them. If you can't help the situation, shut up. Just be quiet. Right now, the man is about to pray over his mother, and all you have to do is tell him he's not moving his finger correctly in salat. Moving that finger correctly in salat is the sunnah. It's important. But in the scheme of things, this is not the most important thing. What's wrong with you? Are you pro-Zionist? And then you want to come and tell the people this is the sunnah and that's what the salaf were upon? Ummah al-Islam. I take this back to what I want to mention to all of you here today. We all individually have a responsibility, and we have something to do with what's going on in Palestine. Our level of Islam, our application of Islam. Everybody who is sitting here, you know how you are with your wife, with your children. You know how you are with your Lord and the 5 prayers. You know how you are. We know what we're doing. If we do the right thing, Allah will divinely protect this ummah. But if we're all over the place, this one is cursing the companions, that one is worshiping Rasulullah, that one over here doesn't pray, that one over here, what do you expect? Allah Ta'ala la yukhliful mi'ad. He doesn't break His promise. And He promised this ummah, if you believe in me correctly and you do righteous deeds, I'll give you tamkeen in the earth. أقول قولي هذا واستغفر الله لي ولكم ونسأل الله تعالى التوفيق والسداد. أستغفر الله وأتوب إليه. اللهم لا تعذبنا بما يقوم به سفهاءنا ولا ظلمائنا. الحمد لله حمدا كثيرا وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. إخوتي في الله, I stand before you and I have al-iman al-yaqeen that Allah Azza wa Jalla is in charge of everything. White people, Westerners, black people, Chinese are not in charge of anything. Even if a fly were to take something from them, they can never retrieve it from the fly. How were the Palestinians from Hamas able to get through the border and not get shot down by the billion-dollar defense mechanisms that Israel has? How could that happen? It's because they're not God. They're not Allah. You people believe that white people are Allah. They have to know everything. Nothing can go under their nose. That's what we believe. That's from colonization. The same way those Palestinians are colonized right now. No food, no water, no electricity. And they're bombing those people. And you think that Allah, those white people, Westerners, are God. You believe that. They're going to cut off my money. They're going to get me in trouble. How could they not know? It's a conspiracy. It's not a conspiracy. It's a dalil. It's a dalil. They don't know everything. And if Allah wants something to happen, it's going to happen. Why it got to be a conspiracy? Isn't it easier for us just to say they don't know everything? They don't know everything. Ummah al-Islam, let us fear Allah Azza wa Jal to the best of our ability. Today, Yawm al-Jum'ah, this is a pivotal time in our lives. Let us leave this masjid. Let us make salat with ikhlas, ikhlas, ikhlas. Asking Allah to destroy those people. We put our heads on that carpet and you bump your head on that carpet. With ikhlas, ask Allah Azza wa Jal. With ikhlas. And when we go back, the message, and I'm done, the message here is, I'm Palestinian, wallahi. I'm a Muslim. I love the land of Palestine, like I love the land of Mecca and Medina. And I love the people of Palestine, like I love the people of Mecca and Medina. I'm a part of Palestine. I'm an African American. I didn't know anything about dates and Ramadan. But I love dates now, and dates in my house, because that's my religion. And I love this flag and the people of this flag. Not because I'm different. I speak on behalf of all of you. But in loving them, we just can't be people of kalam. We have to get ourselves together. A tawheed, a tawheed, a tawheed. You're making shirk with Allah, worshiping the Nabi, asking the people of the grave, fearing other than Allah. That compromises your situation and the Palestinian. You and me putting Abu Hanifa before the Nabi, Imam Malik before the Nabi, Fulan or Alan before the Nabi, it's a problem. Put Rasulullah first. Put the Nabi first. You, me, understanding this religion how I want to, how your mother and your father said, a problem. Understand this religion the way Abu Bakr, Irfan, and Ali and the rest of those companions understood it. That's the blueprint to success and for success. Radiyallahu anhum. But in the meantime, in between time, while we're right here today, 2023, let's give our money today to these brothers who are collecting for Palestine, and let us muster up that sincerity and that singleness in our effort. Bump your head on that ground and ask the Lord of all the worlds. He's powerful, he's able, he's capable. Tell him to deal with these, ask him to deal with these people in a way he never dealt with anybody else from amongst his people. May Allah make it easy for us, and may Allah forgive us, and may Allah Azza wa Jal have mercy upon us, and may Allah help the people of Palestine with a helping that only He can do. Aqimus salat yarhamakumullah.